Folks, apparently Donald Trump has now been indicted by the DOJ on charges of mishandling classified materials. And this raises a question. Didn't Hillary Clinton do the same thing but worse and didn't get prosecuted? Hillary Clinton stored thousands of documents, like tens of thousands of documents, on a private server in her home while she was Secretary of State. Many of those documents were classified. Those documents were then bleach-bitted from her server. She used a code called BleachBit in order to wipe them from her server when she realized that this might fall under investigation. And then those classified emails turned up, not in her home. They turned up on the computer of Anthony Weiner, the husband, the pervert husband of her aide, Huma Abedin, which is why, of course, we had this bizarre two-step wherein James Comey originally announced he was not going to prosecute her. And then right before the election, he was like, oh, by the way, we just found a bunch of classified emails, so we're not sure what that means. And then a few days later, he's like, well, it's probably okay. You remember this. Here was James Comey circa 2016 announcing why he was not going to prosecute Hillary Clinton. And listen to the language he uses.
Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. Prosecutors necessarily weigh a number of factors before deciding whether to bring charges. There are obvious considerations like the strength of the evidence, especially regarding intent. Responsible decisions also consider the context of a person's actions and how similar situations have been handled in the past.
Oh, how similar situations have been handled in the past. And he says, sure, there was evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding how Hillary actually handled the documents. In fact, Comey admitted in that presser, he said that there's a high likelihood that foreign eyes ended up on classified material because of Hillary Clinton. Is there a high likelihood that foreign materials ended up being seen by the Chinese or Russians because Donald Trump hid this stuff in like a closet at Mar-a-Lago? Is that a high likelihood? How exactly would you stack up the treatment of classified materials by Trump as opposed to by Hillary Clinton, where she specifically was not indicted by James Comey and the same people who are spending millions of dollars and thousands of man hours investigating nonsense like the Steele dossier going after Trump? If it seems like animus, that's because it is animus. Here again is the thing. When it comes to Hillary Clinton, Hillary deliberately wiped her server. Now, if you're talking about covering up, obstruction of justice, preventing the knowledge by law enforcement that you are covering up classified material, Hillary Clinton did all that. And Trey Gowdy said as much back in 2016. August of 2016, Trey Gowdy said that Hillary Clinton used a special tool called BleachBit to prevent recovery of files. He said she and her lawyers had those emails deleted. They didn't just push the delete button. They had them deleted where even God can't read them. They used something called BleachBit. You don't use BleachBit for yoga emails or bridesmaids emails. When you're using BleachBit, it's something you really don't want the world to see. That obviously is true. Meanwhile, there's still an investigation into Joe Biden keeping thousands of classified documents apparently all over the place. Joe Biden leaves classified documents around the nation like Hunter Biden leaves illegitimate children. It's amazing. I mean, he just leaves these documents lying around in his garage next to his Corvette and then pretends that he handled this right. You'll recall just a few months ago when Joe Biden was defending his handling of classified documents, said, well, I did keep them in a locked garage. Okay, I'm going to need an explanation as to why your locked garage in Wilmington, Delaware is significantly safer than Donald Trump's locked closet at Mar-a-Lago.
Classified material next to your Corvette? What were you thinking?
I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage. Okay, so it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
So
but anyway,
was in a locked garage.
Yes, as well as my Corvette.
Oh well, that obviously is a great defense there by Joe Biden. By the way, that case is still ongoing. According to NBC News, the federal investigation into President Joe Biden's handling of classified documents shows few signs of an imminent conclusion, even as the probes into former VP Mike Pence and former President Donald Trump have reached or appear to be reaching the end, according to three people familiar with the matter. Biden's advisors have determined he would provide an interview to the special counsel investigating his handling of the classified documents once Biden's legal team and the DOJ agree on the conditions. But Biden has yet to be interviewed, suggesting that the investigation is not yet nearing a close. Interviewing the person at the center of an investigation is typically among the final actions before a probe is completed. A spokesperson for Biden's personal attorney, Bob Bauer, declined to comment at this point. So, again, Joe Biden was hiding documents, or at least he had these documents that were all over the damn place. So is Donald Trump being prosecuted on the basis of doing something extraordinary, like extraordinarily different from Hillary Clinton, for example? The answer, of course, is no. He's doing something very similar to what Hillary Clinton did. It sounds like, except he didn't actually wipe the documents the way that Hillary Clinton did. And he is a presidential candidate, the same way that Hillary Clinton was a presidential candidate. And they decided they didn't want to intervene with Hillary because she was a presidential candidate, but they are perfectly willing to intervene with Donald Trump. Now, politically speaking, does it help Trump? Every time Trump is targeted, it helps Trump in a Republican primary. Now, again, is that going, two things can be true at once. One, Trump is being unfairly targeted. This is a malign use of law enforcement. There is no way in hell that they would be doing this if Donald Trump were a Democrat. Just no way in hell, and we all know it. And that's perverse. And it undermines the credibility of law enforcement. The DOJ, the FBI, these institutions are at low ebb in terms of credibility among Americans. And there is a reason for this. It's incredibly dangerous what they are doing right here. They've now broken the glass. The Manhattan DA broke it on the state level. Breaking it on the federal level is a completely different ball of wax. Breaking it on the state level is bad enough. But there are lots of states with various political opinions. And so, you take it always with like, okay, fine. So Alvin Bragg's a Democrat and he's prosecuting Trump in New York, whatever. When the federal government does it, and the federal government can reach you in your home, and the Manhattan DA can't reach you in Alabama, really. It's the Manhattan DA. Like, what's he going to do? Come to Alabama and grab you? I mean, theoretically, he could try to extradite you or something, but like, let's be real about this. We all understand what a politically motivated prosecution by a liberal prosecutor looks like in Manhattan. That is not the same thing as an institution that requires I don't have a lot of trust in the New York government, but you have to have a certain baseline level of trust in the American government since you pay taxes to it and you are subject to its legal requirements on a day-to-day level. When the DOJ and the FBI are obviously weaponizing themselves against Trump in this way, it's a serious problem for American democracy. And that means that Republicans are rushing to Trump's defense. And they should rush to Trump's defense on this, because obviously this is weaponization against Trump. To turn that, however, into a referendum on his electability is, another question. And what I'm seeing right now is a conflation on the right side of the aisle between, well, we're really pissed about this, which means we should nominate him. Well, I mean, really pissed about it, yes. We should nominate him. You might want to think about whether independents are more likely to vote for him because he was just indicted by the DOJ. Like, is that something that is more likely to win him the election? I'm seeing a lot of analysis today from people on the right. Like, well, this is going to drive him back to the presidency. Well, no, it's going to drive him back to the Republican nomination. But the chances that it's going to flip like 5, 6, 7 million voters back to Trump because the DOJ is going after him on the classified documents matter ignores all of the polling data showing that independents, by and large, are fine with the prosecution, not because they care about the prosecution per se, but because they don't like Trump very much. That is a problem. So two things can be true at once. One, we should all defend Trump on a legal level. We should all say that what the DOJ is doing is gross abuse of power, because it clearly is. What the FBI is doing here is gross abuse of power, because it clearly is. And then we should seek to elect a person who's going to clean that out. And to elect that person, they have to win. And so the question becomes, who is most likely to win? Again, just because your passion is up for Trump, I get it, my passion is up for Trump too. I get the emotional appeal. Does that mean that Trump is likely to win a general election, more likely now than he was yesterday? I don't really see the reason why. Again, I think this notion that the American public is going to react in absolute outrage against Joe Biden and therefore going to throw Biden out of office in favor of Trump, I think we're a very polarized political climate here in the United States. And independents don't really like either of those people, but by polling data, they actually have more of a problem with Trump than they do with Biden at this point. And so unless that radically shifts, that is something that Republican voters should take into their calculation when it comes to voting for the Republican nominee. But again, that's a separate question than the really deeper issue here, which is this is banana republic kind of crap. We have a dog. Our dog's name is Happy. And Happy right now, he's learning to run off the leash. We have some video of him. We sent him to the trainer for a couple of weeks while we integrate new baby into our lives. And Happy's a happy dog. He came home for the weekend. Our kids love him. He's great. Because we want him to remain happy and healthy, this is why we give him Rough Greens every morning. The dog food you've been giving to your dog, well, it's dead. I mean, look at it. It's brown and dry and terrible. But Rough Greens boost Happy's food back to life. It can do the same for your dog. You don't have to go out and buy that new dog food. Just sprinkle Rough Greens on their food every day. It contains all the necessary vitamins and minerals your dog is not getting from their regular dog food. Happy loves it. He eats it up. Rough Greens is the only supplement your dog will ask for by name. Rough Greens. Get it? It's a joke. Naturopathic doctor Dennis Black, the founder of Rough Greens, is so confident this product will improve your dog's health, he's offering my listeners a free Jumpstart trial bag. Go to freeroughgreens.com/Ben. Let Rough Greens bring your dog's food back to life. That's free, RUFF, greens.com/Ben today, or call 833-MY-DOG-33. That's 833-MY-DOG-33. Make your dog as happy as my dog Happy actually is. Go to 833-MY-DOG-33. Look at your house. Yeah, you've been upgrading it, making it look better. You redid the floors, you repainted the place, but there's still something wrong. You know what that thing that's wrong is? The way the light flows into your house. So, every time we've purchased a house, one of the big things for me is natural light. I need natural light, and I like the way that the light flows into the house. This is why I rely on Blinds.com. Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings with over 40,000 five-star reviews. You can measure and install it yourself or have Blinds.com take care of it with local professionals. There's no showroom, no retail markets. No matter how many you order, installation is just one low cost. If you don't have an eye for design, Blinds.com experts are always available to help choose the style and color that's right for you. Everything they sell is covered by their perfect fit and 100% satisfaction guarantee. With hundreds of styles and colors to choose from, Blinds.com is sure to have the perfect treatment for your windows. Shop Blinds.com right now. Save 40% off select products. That's 40% off select products right now at Blinds.com. When you check out online, don't forget to tell them you heard about Blinds.com from The Ben Shapiro Show. Rules and restrictions may apply. Again, that's Blinds.com, and let them know you heard about us on the show. It helps us, and it helps them as well. Blinds.com. Save 40% off select products. I mean, it really is. The DOJ going after Trump for precisely the thing Hillary Clinton did is supremely corrupt. Really corrupt. Now, it's so corrupt that Joe Biden actually yesterday had to disavow having any involvement. He said, I never suggested what the DOJ should do. Well, nobody said that you suggested what the DOJ should do, but it's your Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who's presiding over all of this, and Jack Smith, his appointed special counsel.
Because you notice, I have never once, not one single time, suggested to the Justice Department what they should do or not do relative to bringing a charge or not bringing a charge. I'm honest.
Oh, he's honest, guys. He assures you that he's honest. Now, let's talk about Joe Biden's honesty. The same day this indictment came down for Trump, there are now pretty significant accusations that Joe Biden was actually paid bribe money by a Burisma executive as part of a bribery scheme, according to an FBI document. Fox News is now reporting that Biden was allegedly paid $5 million by an executive of Ukrainian natural gas firm Burisma Holdings, where his son Hunter sat on the board. A confidential human source told the FBI during a June 2020 interview, according to sources familiar. The sources briefed Fox News Digital on the contents of the FBI-generated FD 1023 form, alleging a criminal bribery scheme between then VP Joe Biden and a foreign national that involved influence over U.S. policy decisions. That form, dated June 30th, 2020, is the FBI's interview with a highly credible confidential source who detailed multiple meetings and conversations he or she had with a top Burisma executive over the course of several years starting in 2015. Fox News Digital has not seen the form. It was described by several sources who are aware of its contents. An FD 1023 is a form used by FBI agents to record unverified reporting from confidential human sources, so it's good enough for the Steele dossier, obviously. The form is used to document information as told to an FBI agent. That doesn't mean that it's been validated or that it's been fully weighed at this point, but the accusation in the FD 23 says that the Burisma executive discussed Hunter Biden's role on the board. You'll remember that Hunter Biden was being paid an extraordinary amount of money, like $50,000 a month or something, in order to be a consultant for Burisma, given Hunter Biden's extensive expertise in natural gas and Ukraine. That's a joke. He has no expertise in either of those things. He has expertise in crack cocaine and nailing hookers. That is his actual area of expertise, Hunter Biden. But apparently that was good enough to get on the Burisma board. Why? Well, because Daddy was the VP at the time. And there have been accusations going on. I mean, this is what underlay, you'll recall, the first impeachment of President Trump. President Trump went to Vladimir Zelensky, the head of Ukraine. This is well before the Russian invasion, obviously. And he asked him, essentially, to look into accusations that Burisma was attempting a payoff to Joe Biden. And that in return for the payoff, Joe Biden was going to fire some prosecutor who was looking at Burisma, or pressure a prosecutor to be fired in Ukraine who was looking into Burisma. That's been the long-standing accusation against Joe Biden. The confidential human source questioned why the Burisma executive needed his or her advice in acquiring access to U.S. oil if he had Hunter Biden on the board. The Burisma executive answered by referring to Hunter Biden as dumb. Well, I mean, so far we know that 1023 is accurate. Hunter Biden is one of the stupider humans walking the earth at this point, despite apparently his massive artistic talent for money laundering, perhaps. The Burisma executive explained to the confidential source that Burisma, quote, had to pay the Bidens because Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin was investigating Burisma and explained how difficult it would be to enter the U.S. market in the midst of that investigation. The confidential source further detailed the conversation, suggesting to the Burisma executive that he pay the Bidens $50,000 each, to which the Burisma executive replied, it's not $50,000, it's $5 million. $5 million for one Biden, $5 million for the other Biden. Apparently, the document makes reference to the big guy, which is said to be a reference to Joe Biden. Burisma executive told the confidential source he didn't, quote, pay the big guy directly. Now, you'll recall that language is highly reminiscent of language that was used in documents between Hunter Biden and Chinese investors talking about the split of money to the big guy in another investment. And the question always was, who was the big guy? Is that big guy Joe Biden? You'll recall that also Joe Biden openly bragged about getting Viktor Shokin fired. At the time Shokin was investigating Burisma, Hunter had a highly lucrative role on the board. The then VP threatened to withhold $1 billion of critical U.S. aid if Shokin was not fired. Remember, Donald Trump was impeached for supposedly attaching strings to Ukrainian aid based on their investigation of Burisma. And now it appears that Joe Biden, according to these allegations, basically did the same thing, but was taking actual bribery money in coordination with it. So, will this be real? Will it end up being real? Unclear at this point, but those allegations are now out there openly in the public. Representative Byron Donalds, who has actually seen the document, he's a Republican from Florida, he says money was being moved through accounts to get to Joe Biden.
This document also stipulates that, according to the confidential human source, that money was being moved through several accounts, multiple accounts, to get to Joe Biden. I'm going to say it again. Money was moved on purpose through multiple accounts to get to Joe Biden.
Well, if that's true, then that guy's going to get impeached. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has seen the same document. She makes similar accusations.
Back in 2015, 2016, Burisma was looking to buy a U.S.-based oil and gas company. And this came from being advised by Hunter Biden and his partners. Biden said Shokin was corrupt. That was around the time of this meeting, was when Joe Biden, as vice president, had said that the prosecutor Shokin was corrupt. They hired Hunter on the board to make the problems go away. That's what they specifically said. The owner of Burisma said that Hunter was stupid and that his other business partner was smart. He also said that he paid $5 million to one Biden and he paid $5 million to another Biden. And it was all a bribery to get Shokin fired and end the investigation into Burisma.
Now, that is what the Ukrainian source apparently said. Fox News has another report from one of its reporters saying that the document doesn't actually say that Biden received any money. They just tried to pay the money. So it's unclear whether the money was actually received or how it was actually passed. Joe Biden was asked about this, and he's like, well, I'm not going to answer any questions except to just say, where's the money? So here's Fox News reporting that the document doesn't suggest that it actually passed hands or anything. Here's Fox News.
Time members of the House Oversight Committee were able to view the FBI 1023 document. Republicans contend the document points to a legal problem for the president.
There is no doubt in my mind that Joe Biden is guilty of bribery, 100%. I mean, there was two separate transactions, one that went to Joe Biden for $5 million and one that went to Hunter Biden for $5 million. So, I mean, if that's not grounds for criminal activity, I don't know what is.
About a dozen GOP members viewed the document in a classified setting at the Capitol, but a source familiar with the document tells Fox, quote, the document does not say Joe Biden received any payments.
That was Biden's response as well. He says, where's the money? Here he was responding.
Congresswoman Nancy Mace says there's damning evidence in the FBI file that you sold out the country. Do you have a response to the congressional Republicans?
Where's the money? I'm joking.
Mr. President,
It's a bunch of malarkey.
I'm joking. Weird response, dude. Where's the money? That is a weird response. Normally, when somebody accuses me of bribery, I get pissed because not true. I don't go like, where's the money? I mean, maybe the money is in all of those houses you now own and your massive income. Or maybe you specifically structured many, many companies, which is the allegation, in order to pass the money. I mean, I assume that we will find out, will we not? Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show continues right now. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be joined on the line by Jim Caviezel and Tim Ballard. Tim spent more than a decade working as a special agent for DHS. It was his job to police child sex tourism and stop it. Jim plays him in a new movie called Sound of Freedom. If you're not a member, become a member. Use code Shapiro. Check out for 2 months free on all annual plans. Click that link in the description and join us.